Did you see it? Tell me you saw it. Khabib versus Gaethje, UFC 254 I think it was. Amazing display. It took Khabib less than 1 minute to finish the fight once it got to the ground. Incredible performance. And this fight coming in, a lot of people were thinking, are we going to get a different Khabib? We saw recently the tragic passing of his father. We knew he was getting towards the speaking of retirement period. And not to mention that, you got Justin Gaethje. He's the interim champion. He pretty much had the game plan that a lot of people were saying would be the kryptonite, essentially, for Khabib. You've got a one-punch knockout power striker in Gaethje who, realistically, he could potentially only need 5 chances to finish that fight. The start of every round might have been just enough for him to land left hook, right hand, and that could have been it. People were also saying he's going to chop away the legs, he's going to make it so Khabib can't shoot. And then also there was the talk of the defensive wrestling. He's been wrestling since he was a little kid, 20 plus years of wrestling experience, one of the best defensive wrestlers in the division. So people were saying, this is the game plan, this is how you beat Khabib. You have knockout power in your hands, you chop away his legs, you stop the takedowns, you finish the fight. So there was a lot of speculation over this one, but Khabib 28-0 coming into the fight, an absolute legend and up there with Jones and St. Pierre, frequently in that GOAT category as the greatest of all time. What can I say? Man, that was, 50 seconds I think it was. It was about 50 seconds from the time Khabib shot the takedown in the second, took the back, got the mount, and then finished him with that triangle. Referee didn't see Gaethje tap, goes to sleep, and Khabib retires at 29-0. Undisputable, one of the best of all time to ever do it. And congratulations to him on an amazing career. Hopefully he enjoys his retirement. But today we're going to break that down. So there was a lot of stuff that happened in that 50 seconds that's from the start of that process, from that double leg shot, into turning the corner, taking the back, getting the mount, and then finishing off his back with a triangle set up from a sort of an armbar attempt. So we're going to break that down and we're going to look at how it was done. So go over the takedown into the back take, the transition to the mount, and then into the finish from Khabib, because there was a couple of points that stood out really, really nicely. And you often see with high-level grapplers, whether they're wrestlers, jiu-jitsu guys, judo players, it doesn't matter what they are, really good at chaining techniques, and that's something that Khabib does really, really nicely. So let's just go first into the takedown. The defense off the takedown that Gaethje used, which was a nice heavy sprawl that you would expect from a good wrestler, but it opened up that back take. So we'll go over that first because that was the whole sequence. Once Khabib hit that takedown, that was it, 45 seconds, that's all it took, and then the fight was over. Okay, so we'll just go into a wrestling stance, so we'll just kind of do that and pop that leg forward so everyone can see. Okay, so Khabib got in nice and deep on a really good double leg here, and as you would expect, Gaethje sprawled hard, like that. But what Khabib does really well, like I said, is chaining technique. So before he basically had even committed to taking the shot, he already knew that he was going to turn that corner and either get on top or take the back. So we'll go back a step here. So as he shoots, he cops that sprawl and then he just cuts the corner really nice. Gaethje, being the wrestler that he is, he didn't want to go to his back initially, so he stayed on all fours, and that's where Khabib got to the back. So he shot in, bang, copped that sprawl, and as he's cut the corner, he's come around here. Gaethje wanted to stay on all fours. Straight away, Khabib, boom, threw the hooks in. Okay, and at this point here, whether it was because Gaethje had trained, having seen former opponents giving their back and getting finished, or thinking that he would find it easier to wrestle his way up, he's then at this point, from here, he's turned onto his back. So he's gone belly down, and he's ended up in this sort of head-arm triangle position here. So Khabib transitioned really nicely, cut the corner, got the hooks in, As Khabib controlled, Gaethje went onto the back, and he sort of got into this head arm choke, but from here, Gaethje sort of fought to get back. So from here, he sort of fought, got the head arm choke, came into this mount position, and he had this arm isolated here. So Khabib sat high, and he's keeping this knee here pinching. He didn't want to give space where Gaethje could through or even get his leg in, so push and get half guard, start to defend. Yeah. So from here, as soon as he's escaped the head arm choke, Khabib sits, keeps that knee really tight. And you can see he starts pushing like this, because there's kind of two ways to get to this mounted triangle. One, post it, and then step over the top. But when you do this, often they're going to try and resist, and he pulls his hand back in, bang, pushes it down. So from here, Khabib comes around, he's controlling his head, he's got the arm isolated, he pushes this in and steps over. Now this was the really interesting part here. In the first round, Gaethje almost got armbarred. Okay? So at this point here, Khabib was caught on his foot. He didn't come all the way through to his knee to a mounted triangle just yet. He sort of stopped in this position here. And what he did was he sat back and he kind of went for the armbar like that. So just get back for me. So if Dan doesn't come up, he sat back here, trying to pinch his knees, fall, and he could potentially finish the arm there just by using his armpit. Boom. Gaethje knowing that, from this position here, so he stuffed that arm, stepped here, Gaethje knowing that this arm was at risk, as Khabib sat here, he thought, oh, I'll come up. But he was already in the triangle. So he's locked it at this point, and just spin this way for me. So he's locked it at this point here. And here, in typical kind of wrestling style, Gaethje tried to lift him, okay? But Khabib managed to hold on, so he only got him slightly off the floor. So when he slammed him, boom. Too tight, he already had the angle, squeeze. We'll show it one more time from in front. So he was fighting for this head arm choke after he took the back, transitioned, Gaethje fought free, and because of that, he went straight into this arm isolated head control, modified mount, pinching the knee, from here. Swings over, stops. Sets up the armbar, which baits Gaethje to come in. Locks the triangle. Goes for the slam, he holds, and then from there, put Gaethje to sleep, retires undefeated, probably one of the best to ever do it, definite GOAT status. So really nice display, incredible grappling as always. So yeah, that was about it.